Hello everyone. We're gonna start the series on the Node.js RESTful API. So basically, we are going to use a Node.js as a backend, Express as a framework, and Mongoose as a database. So I have already created a RESTful API on my desktop. So what is RESTful API? RESTful API. Let's search. So RESTful API is an architectural style for an application programming interface known as API that uses HTTP request to access and uses data. So basically RESTful API deals with the four functionalities, that is CRUD functionalities. C stands C stands for create, R stands for read, U stands for update, and D stands for delete. So further moving on, we are going to use the packages manager. So there are two kinds of packages manager, npm and yarn. So the alternative of npm is yarn and the alternative of yarn is npm. uh, so you can use both of them. Sorry, you can use either npm or yarn. Let's start. So initially we are going to create a npm init -y, or you can do yarn init -y. uh, so I've already installed the npm init packages. So I've already created the folder RESTful API. So mention that please don't try to give space between the RESTful and the API, so it will create error. So npm init packages. So so you can see the packages.json. So let's install the required packages. npm install Express, Mongoose, Morgan. I'll be talking later on the what is Morgan. So in alternative, if you use yarn packages, you should write yan and yarn add and give space. npm install Express, Mongoose, Morgan. So the packages are downloading. So for testing our API, we're gonna use this we're gonna use this Postman software. Postman. So you can download it from here. So I'll pause the video. Fine, now it's working perfectly. CLI clear. So you can see the dependencies Express, Mongoose and Morgan is already installed. So now we'll start another we'll install another packages known as nodemon. So nodemon will be installed as a dev dependencies, not as a global. So D stands for dev dependencies. So nodemon, basically the nodemon, so whenever we create the some node.js file sorry node sorry so whenever we so whenever we create the node.js file, we try to save the file. So so nodemon packages help us to uh, so nodemon help us to any changes we have committed in our JS file or node.js file, node automatically pick it up. So nodemon already installed as a dev dependencies packages. uh, so let's move on. So we'll be creating a as root folder, index index.js. So we have already installed nodemon, so you can write nodemon, sorry, nodemon. We have already created the index.js as a root folder, root file. So you can write index, either you can write index.js or simply write index. So in a production, in a development phases, we use this nodemon. So basically nodemon represents as a dev, and when the when the code goes for production phases, you may need node.js like this, node index. So keep comma. Now let's save. So further moving on, opening the index.js file. So let's get const express is equals to require express, the const app is equals to express. So listening port, const port, PROC is a process.env dot port 3000, app.listen. So app.listen will write this port. So callback function, console.log running successfully. Running successfully on port. So we'll be writing this port. So control S. Now npm run. So so we have give this dev dependency in nodemon index as a dev. So we can write npm run dev. So see, you can see running successfully on port 3000, running successfully on port 3000. So basically this there are the two there we have given the two ports. One is default port 3000. In case if our in case if our services is busy on other port, so it reads from the process.env.port. So it comes from .env file. So you can give any port, something 5000 as a backup. So moving on, we'll be following the MBC pattern model. The sorry, we'll be creating model and controller routes. So but we will not be creating a view package, view folder. Mm, so so let's go deep into the databases. We'll be getting model. So we have already installed the Mongoose. We'll be getting another folder name as helpers. So basically helpers used to help our um, other files. Let's see, we'll be getting initialize database.js. So let's go const mongoose is equals to require mongoose const schema is equals to mongoose dot capital S schema const const so mongoose dot connect PRS is process. So we'll be so here we'll be writing the URL. This is a URL MongoDB. So URL comma so this is the default you have to create true give true is find and modify use on find and topology true use unified topology, sorry already created, use new URL parser true, so if then if true then console.log MongoDB connected. There is an error, console.log error dot messages. So if there is an error, the message will be printed. So fine. So further moving on, you can also give like this const db db is equals to mongoose dot, so mongoose come from here, mongoose dot connection db dot once connected console.log apostrophe MongoDB connected to database. All these things are optional. You can also ignore it. No need to write. But I'll go with db.once db.once. If there is an error, so callback function, so give an error console.log. if there is an error, it will print the message what actually the error is. So you can use, instead of once, you can use on. So at first it will print the MongoDB connected database, then it will print MongoDB connected. So you can also what if the MongoDB is disconnected, you can also print some messages. So that is the optional part, you can also ignore it, but I'll write db, let's write disconnection part db.on disconnect disconnected console.log MongoDB disconnected MongoDB connected. So to execute this process, we have to write const const to execute this disconnected db. So you should write process dot on capital SIGINT int callback. So there is a callback function. So let's make it asynchronous SONC. So whenever we hit Ctrl plus C, the server get disconnected. So it will take some time. So we are using the asynchronous and wait method. Process, sorry, process, sorry, await. So here is asynchronous, then it will take some time, so we are using await db. So db comes from here, db dot close. Now let's terminate this process dot exit. Let's add 0. Let's hit Control yes. Now you can see running successfully on port 3000. Let's hit Control C. So moving on. So in our root index.js file, so we'll be discussing about the CRUD functionality. CRUD CRUD get update like this. So here is app. So app.get callback rest dot rest dot send hello, this is home page. Let's add some this home. So let's hit Ctrl S save. Let's open the server npm yarn dbdev. Npm run dbdev. Starting the server. So let's go to the postman. So let's create new one. So I'll copy from here this. So it is a get request. The URL look like this. http localhost, and we are running our server in 3000 port. So here is 3000 port, and here is home page, /home. So we'll give home. So in order to start this process, we have to set this header is equals to, go to header, and in key section write content, this content type, and this application JSON. So now go to body section. Now body section, go to raw raw, and here is JSON. Now let's hit send. So there is an error. Race is not defined. Sorry, you have to pass request race and next. Control S. So this is the request response cycle. We are sending the request, and the server is giving the response. Now see again, it can't send button. See, hello, this is home page. So this message is coming from here. So this get request is working perfectly. So what if we give /homes like this? So it is not throwing the proper error. So let's handle this error method. Handling the error method. app.use asynchronous async. So let's give async, make it asynchronous, comma request response, comma next. So if there is any error, we'll be using the another packages called HTTP errors. So it will handle all the error packages, error messages, sorry. HTTP errors npm. So this is the HTTP error npm packages. So this version 1.8.0. so we quickly downloaded this. So let's download this. Control C, terminate, npm install, or you can write simply I http errors. In order printing the message by ourselves, let's give the chance to handle the error message for these packages. So downloaded. So you can see npm package.json HTTP errors is downloaded. So const create variables, you can give any name. I'll give create errors, require http errors. So we have used the packages here. So you can write next create errors. So create errors come from here. So create errors carry the HTTP errors packages. Not found. So further moving on, app.use asynchronous. So it will take four parameters: error, request, response, next. So res.send res.status is equals to error.status. So error.status err come from here, error.status, or we can give by ourselves 500 error. We'll be using we'll be printing the error messages in a JSON format. So you can write error res dot control X res.send. So we'll print here error. So provide this error JSON format inside the res.send. So error let's print the status error.status 500. So error.status come from here, res.status. So further moving on, so let's print the messages error dot. So it will print the messages what the actual error is. So hit control yes, Now let's run the server. npm run dev async spelling mistake async async. Control S. Let's fix the error. So the actually error is there will no comma. So the blunder mistake. So let's save. Successfully running. So now let's test this. So it will throw the error. See, error is status 404 not found. So you can give any name here. Testing. It will throw the same error. So the error is properly handled through the use of HTTP errors packages. So now let's move on. We'll be creating the route packages. Route folder. Routes folder. So in the route folders, we'll be creating the folder name auth dot route.js. So we'll be using get request, post request, update request, and delete request in this file. Const express is equals to require express. Const router is equals to const router is a variable. So const router is equals to express dot router. So router is already installed in the npm packages. So it is a default. So let's move on. Router dot post method. So let's get a post method as a register. So callback function. So we'll be getting a asynchronous. So we'll be adding the every request as a through asynchronous method. Async asynchronous. So if there is an error, if the error exists, so to handle this process we will be using try catch, cts catch. If there is an error, this catch will handle. So next error, next error. So where this next error come from? You can see. So whenever there is an error in this mechanism, so it will throw this error, and this error represents this method, this handling the error method. So automatically it will throw this error dot status and the error messages like this. So this is the proper benefit of the HTTP error packages. So auth.error. So register. So in order to register, we have to create the database first. So let's create database. This is the mongodb.com. Sign in. So log in with Google. So I'll be using this my email. So now moving on. So we'll be creating a new project. Project name Restful API. Create project. So build a cluster. You can skip. So create a cluster. Create cluster. You can choose anyone or default. So your cluster is created new cluster take between 1 to 3 minutes to provision. So it will take 3 minutes. So I'll pause the video. So my cluster is already created. So let's further move on. Let's go to collection. Add my own data. So let's not go here. I'll be going database access, network access. Add a IP address. Allow access from anywhere. You can also choose this add current IP address, but I'll choose this one. Confirm. So you will be able to connect your cluster from the following IP address. It's pending. So it's active. Now let's move on. Now let's move to database access. Cluster already finished. Now connect. So now let's connect. Now create a database user. I'll choose username as a restful API. Password 123. Create a database user. Choose a connection method. So connect your application. Now let's copy this and close. So so before moving into this, let's create a database model. So YAML models. Inside the models, I'll be creating a file named as this is user.model.js. Now const express is equals to require express, and we need mongoose too. Const mongoose mongoose. As this is a database, we'll be dealing every database method over here require. So we need mongoose. Mongoose. I think we don't need this, so it's not necessary. Const mongoose const schema is equals to mongoose dot schema, capital S schema. Now you can give any variable name. Const I'll be giving user schema. So I'll recommend. So we have given the name user.model.js. So we provide the variable name starting from the user. So it is a naming convention. User schema is equals to using new schema. So this schema come from here. New schema. So we need first name. So first name as an object. So type is equals to string, required true. So without filling the first name, we cannot proceed on because we have included required is equals to required is true. So it means we need the first name as first name, and then only we can proceed on. So already required. Give comma. Don't forget to give comma because it is represented as an object. First name, last name. So let's keep capital N. It is a naming convention. So last name, object. So this is also an string. So we required this also. Required true. So yeah, fine. Let's go. First name, last name. Now let's go to email. So email is also a string. We need required is equals to true. Lowercase is equals to true, and unique equals to true. So this lowercase means suppose I wrote Sandeep@gmail.com, and another user also try to register as NDIP Sandeep. gmail.com. So if the lowercase is true, then the Mongoose database compared to this both has the same. So this is very important, lowercase is a true. So lowercase is a true means Sandeep at the gmail.com, and capital Sandeep at the gmail.com is same. So let's move on. Email age is a number. Age is a number. It is also required. So let's put minimum age should be 18 years old. Minimum 18 and maximum 60. Age let's get gender too. Gender type STL string required true. So fine. Now let's go to passport field. Passport object PASSWRD passport, sorry, PASSWRD passport. Type string. We need passport, so we write passport is true. Yeah, fine. So user schema. Now we have to export this. Let's get const capital user. User is a variable. Const user is equals to module dot exports. Const user is equals to mongoose dot model. Let's get so we have already provided the username as a RESTful API, and go to collections, add my own data. So database name is already on RESTful API, and collection name, so this is a table name. So we'll provide user. So if you provide user, then you can see the table name created as users. User comma, write this user schema. Now let's export. Module dot exports is equals to this user. So control S, save. So going to the helpers folder, inside it init.dev.js. So we have wrote this code, but we have left this part URL. So URL will be database access, sorry, clusters connect your application. So copy this. So go to so you can paste it over here. So but I'll use .env method. .env, I'll create env folder. .env, sorry, env file. .env in a root. So write capital Mongo. So MongoDB URL, you can give any name. So why you do this? Because if you provide this URL, and whenever you push this code into GitHub, so so other can see this URL, username and password. So in order to protect such username and password, we'll we'll use this URL inside this .env. So this password we had road 1 2 3 4 5, and this DB name, database name, as a RESTful API, REST RESTful API. So Control S, save. So now you can write PROCE as a process .env dot Control S, Control C, Control V. So in order to use this .env, we have to install packages name as npm i.env. So .env so let's delete this. So the every sensitive part, like a port URL, it is a better way to keep every this sensitive information inside this .env. So we have already installed .env packages, so now you can use this .env. So in order to execute this, you have to write require dot env dot config. So now it will execute. So our database portion is finished. Now let's go to npm run dev, start the server. Still we cannot notice this MongoDB connected. So let's fix some of the issue or box. I think there will be not this one. Control S. Connection const db mongoose dot connection. Second is through this. Control S. It should be printed. What is the bug? Oh, sorry. So we have already created this mongoose.connect whenever we start the server, you should get printed this mongodb dot connected message, but it is not printed here. So because we haven't export this files in index.js. So let's do mongoose.connect. So let's do here const so we have to export this initdb.js file inside this our main index.js. Let's write require dot slash. So here it is, init.js. We have to export this file inside this root index.js. So we have to write this, go to helpers folder, and then access into init underscore db. So you can write gs or just exclude this one. Control S, save. You should print the message. Yeah, got it. See, running successfully on port 3000. Then MongoDB connected to database. This MongoDB connected to database, and then MongoDB connected. So we have already exported our this file inside our root index.js, and then it got executed. Now moving on. Let's go to here register. So whenever you try to register, the form should get validated. So in order to validate, we will use these packages called Zoe. These Zoe packages. So it will validate the form like first name, last name that we have created. You can see here. So it will validate first name, last name, email, age, gender, passport. So this is Zoe. Data validator for JavaScript. So let's install JUI. Control C, terminate, clear. Sorry, npm I JUI Zoe. Yeah, installed. So you can see over here packages JSON Zoe. We have also installed Morgan, but we haven't used. Let's use this Morgan too. You can write this const declare variable as a Morgan, require Morgan. So in order to access this, so to use this, you can write over here. using Morgan app.use Morgan and I div, yes, div, and then see, this is the JSON format. So in order to print the JSON format, we should also include this middleware using middleware. So we can write app.use express.json and app.use URL encoded ext extended you should write, I think, express.url encoded. So let's search here. App.use so express.url. So it will not create any issue in the JSON format. So it is the middleware. So let's control S save, npm run dbdev. So we have also installed this JSON this Zoe packages. It will validate our model require. So in the auth route, whenever we try to register, we should validate our form. So let's validate const, declare variable as a user, const user. Let's say const result is equal to, as this is a asynchronous function, so you should write await so we'll be using here Zoe. So let's write a const capital J Zoe is equals to require Zoe. I think let's get another separate file for the Zoe validation. So inside the lvars folder, let's create a validation schema.js. So let's go to JS this Zoe packages documentation and API. See, const Zoe require Zoe, const schema Zoe object, username passport. So we'll write const Zoe is equals to require Zoe. Let's see, const schema is equal to Zoe dot object. So let's write const user. So basically it is so let's write register schema. See, why we wrote register schema, because in auth.route we are dealing with a register. So this validation will work over here. So register schema is equals to new sorry, joy.object. So joy.object. So let's get object, username, password. So going to user model. So we have first name, last name. So first name. So first name joy.string, joy.string. So required, I think it's required, yeah, true. Required first name to last name, joy.string dot requi required first name, last name. This email, validating email dot capital J, joy. So this joy come from here. Joy dot string dot required. So this is email. You can see over here email. For email you can see email age, joy dot, I think number, yeah, number, joy dot number. It should be integer. It should be integer. It should be minimum, max. So minimum let's consider as 18, minimum 18, maximum 60, maximum 60. First email, age, gender, and passport. Gender, full stop. Gender joy dot string, joy dot string dot required, required, required. So let's not forget here required, required. Required, and then passport joy dot string alpha num. So alpha num means alphabet plus numerical value. Passport. Let's add this pattern also. This passport is required, required. Control S, save. Now let's export this. So don't forget to export the file. This register regis register schema. So now let's export this register schema inside the auth.route. So auth.route is over here and our validation schema is here. So let's write const. So we will be using the object destructuring. object destructuring. Object. So going to the register schema. REGS register schema is equals to require this. We are importing this one validation schema over here, so it is inside the folder. So dot and so after using this dot, this validation schema come in the root folder. Then again going to the inside the root folder and accessing this auth route. So again write dot slash helper slash validation schema. So now we are accessing this register schema from here, validation schema. So now writing register, you can go further. Going down. So we'll be using validate async. So let's search over here, Control F, validate async. See validate async. So await register schema dot validate async request.body. So it will validate all the request.body. It will validate this register schema. So it will validate this register schema. So the video is quite long, so I'll be covering the other tutorials sooner. So keep subscribing.